live from the car. We have great news coming out of the states of North Carolina and then also Michigan that is going to bode well for situations in other states as well. I'll get into all of that, but I'm going to talk briefly about the New York Times and their reporting on the murder of the Ukrainian national. And I'm going to show you some really wild stuff with that. So this is going to be an action-packed. I'm going to try and keep this to about 20 minutes. We'll see if I can get that done, folks, because I'm out in Rapid City, South Dakota, and I'm about to go meet my son. And we're going to go chase down an antelope with a bow. And I'm going to record it all and film it and put it on my Neil of the North channel for y'all. So do me a favor, smash that like, chat in with where you're from. Michelle, thank you for modding for me this morning. Good to see you on. We have great news out of North Carolina, and I love Harmeet Dillon. Absolutely love her. Listen to this, a press release from the Department of Justice. Are you not excited about a Department of Justice that is actually working for you? Tennessee, good to see you on the stream. Jeff, always good to see you. Thanks for joining us again. Brian, good to see you. Antrim County, Michigan, you're going to love this report. So, Bill Bailey, court enters consent order requiring North Carolina to fix inaccurate voter lists. This is a press release from the Department of Justice. Court orders consent order requiring North Carolina to fix inaccurate voter list. The Department of Justice announced today that a federal court has entered a consent order that remedies North Carolina's failure to maintain an accurate voter list in violation of HAVA, the Help America Vote Act. The successful resolution of the case is another step forward to achieving the mandate in President Donald Trump's Executive Order 14248 entitled Preserving and Protecting the Integrity of American Elections to ensure that elections are being held in compliance with federal laws which guard against illegal voting, unlawful discrimination, and other forms of fraud, error, or suspicion. In the lawsuit, which was filed on May 27th, the United States said North Carolina was in violation of HAVA's mandate and clear congressional intent and used a state voter registration form that did not require a voter to provide identifying information such as a driver's license number or last four digits of a social security number. So they were in violation of this. Why would they not want to identify the voters on the registrations? I do not understand, folks. Doesn't it seem obvious? Smash that like, man. Anyways, share this out too. This is good news. When the lawsuit was filed, it estimated that at least 100,000 voters did not have the required identifying information on North Carolina's registration rolls. As of early September, that number has decreased as North Carolina engages in remedial actions to comply with HAVA. This is the best, though. Listen to this quote from Harmeet Dillon. Unsuccessful interveners showed breathtaking hubris when they made alarmist accusations against the Department of Justice and yet claimed credit for the very relief that the department actively pursued in the complaint, said Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon. Nevertheless, we are pleased with the progress North Carolina has made and will continue to make as it cleans up its registration rolls as required by federal law. So this is one of the things that you'll see consistently in this election stuff is that they will be asked to do something, and then these very same organizations will try to claim credit for doing what they said couldn't be done because it was going to disenfranchise, key word of theirs, all these people. Okay, another one. This actually made the Washington freaking Post, folks. I am not kidding. Opinion from the editorial board. I'm in shock right now. Okay, just get ready. This is wild. The collapse. This is the title from the editorial board of the Washington Post. Something is wrong here, folks. Something's not right. The collapse of Democratic lawfare in Michigan. Dismissal of fake electors. They even put it in quotes. Charges bodes ill for cases in Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, and Georgia. There are 4 other cases where these fake elector things are going on, right? So listen to this. The wheels of justice turn slowly, but weak cases can do grave damage in the meantime. Look no further than the collapse on Tuesday of Michigan's fake electors' prosecution against supporters of President Donald J. Trump for their actions after the 2020 election. Judge Kristen D. Simons, an appointee of Governor Whitmer. What is going on? There's got to be more to this. Just threw it out. The state's case after 2 years of preliminary proceedings. The 15 defendants had been charged with forgery and other crimes. Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel alleged that they violated state law in 2020 by putting themselves forward as electors pledged to Trump despite Joe Biden's victory in the state. So if you remember, there were alternate slates of electors. Okay, these alternate slates of electors were set up so that they could discover the election fraud and then they could send those people and so on. Okay, but the bottom line, folks, the case has been thrown out. Now, these people's lives for the last 2 years have been a living hell. Like so many people who have been involved in this movement, like people like Leah Hoops, people. There's just countless people. I mean, those of us who had lost our social media platforms and so on, smaller. But this is actual lawfare directed at these people by Attorney General Dana Nessel of Michigan. Simons ruled that prosecutors had not met the bar to take the case to trial. No one disputed that the defendants gathered in December 2020 to create a slate of Trump electors to send to the state legislature, but the judge concluded that they did so openly and without criminal intent. This was not a secret to anybody, okay? We knew those alternate slates of electors were there. They did not try to create a fraudulent elector slate that looks like it's the real one and replace the other one, Simon said. Instead, they seriously believed that there were election irregularities and saw themselves as petitioning the legislature, a right protected under the Constitution. Folks, do you see how great this is? I mean, a right protected under the Constitution. This was a Democrat judge. It was too far for even them, okay? I mean, how many of you, after everything that you've been told by the mainstream media, by the government, all this, believe that there were irregularities in 2020 that affected the outcome of that election? How many of you, yes or no? Because they have told us for the longest time that this isn't the case. It's baseless, all this stuff. The harshest felony charges, listen to this. The harshest felony charges had carried a penalty of up to 14 years in prison. And most of the accused are older than 70. So they want to take a bunch of 70-year-olds, stick them in prison for 14 years, people over 70. So let's say they're 75, so 89 till they're 89. Really? For openly saying, hey, we believe there's a problem. We're going to petition our legislature and create an alternate slate of electors? Really? This was what the Michigan Attorney General, this is still taking place at the state level. This is exactly what was wrong with our Department of Justice that whole time. Michelle, 2020 is not over, she says. Democratic prosecutors have also charged Trump supporters and associates with related activities in Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, and Georgia. None of these cases has yet gone to trial. The Michigan case was especially significant because Nessel was the most outspoken prosecutor, and she was the first to bring charges in July 2023. Her criminal referral to federal prosecutors in 2022. So understand this was state-level charges, but she had referred this to the feds. In 2022 might have also spurred the federal investigation of Trump over the 2020 election, prompting special counsel Jack Smith's indictment. And we all know where that went because he wanted to charge Trump with insurrection. But even Jack Smith knew that he couldn't meet that bar, so he tried some other BS. Okay? Woo! The fact that the Michigan case failed does not necessarily mean that the federal case against Trump would have failed. Simon said that Trump's election lawyers withheld meaningful information from would-be Michigan electors. So they're trying to then put the blame back on Trump and say, oh, well, it was all Trump's fault and these people. So there's the little nugget out of that, okay? But here, I'm going to give you gals, or you folks, I said gals, folks, something else really wild. So how many of you have been following what's been going on with the Ukrainian national, okay? Her name is Irina Zarutska, if I'm saying that correctly, but that's how I read it as I've seen it. I haven't listened to any news on it. I've just read, and I've got Irina Zarutska. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, I apologize. A couple days ago, somebody did a search on the New York Times for Irina Zarutska, okay? Do you know how many results? Let me ask you a question. For stories on Irina Zarutska, how many stories showed up in the New York Times? Just give me a number. Irina Zarutska, how many stories in the New York Times showed up? Okay? John Parsons got it. 0. Freaking 0. Now, do you remember Daniel Penny, the guy on the subway who saved people? Okay. Well, Daniel Penny, how many stories do you think the New York Times ran on Daniel Penny? And I will guarantee you they weren't positive. How many? Give me a number for Daniel Penny stories about what an evil guy he was, what a white supremacist he was. Barry, you got it. 100. 100 stories. If you searched on the New York Times, you would find 0 for Irina Zarutska, 100 for Daniel Penny. And listen to this headline they ran the other day. This is an actual headline from yesterday from the New York Times. A gruesome murder in North Carolina ignites a firestorm on the right. Security footage capturing the unprovoked stabbing in Charlotte became an accelerant for conservative arguments about the perceived failings of Democratic policies. So let me just break this down for you. A gruesome murder, okay, they got that part right, in North Carolina. But it's not about the gruesome murder. It's not about the criminal. It's not about the young lady's life. It's about none of that. It's about how it ignites a firestorm on the right. So, folks, did it ignite a firestorm in you? It ignited a firestorm in me, darn right, but that's not the freaking story. Their story is to cover this, firestorm, and it's on the right. It's a bunch of right-wing freaks that are upset about this. Smash that like if you would. This needs to get out. These people, what they're doing, and what this is, folks, is this is all about creating race-driven wars. This is why the hip-hop culture, let me just break this back to Barack Obama, hip-hop culture, the 90s. I always said that those record labels, when they were running songs like Cop Killer and talking about, shaking your booty and just welfare mamas and all that stuff, all of that, if you went to a boardroom from these major record labels, it had to be like a satanic convention, the demonic horde surrounding these people, because it affects our society. It affects our culture. And then Barack Obama running around with the hands up, don't shoot and all that. Okay. Security footage capturing the unprovoked stabbing in Charlotte, which it was very unprovoked, lady just sitting there in Charlotte, became an accelerant for conservative arguments. The accelerants have been there all the time. They're everywhere, folks. About the perceived failings of Democratic policies. Folks, there's not one major Democrat-run city that's doing well on crime. This is bull. Okay? I've got more on this. Oh, my gosh. This one I looked up. This is TGC. I think it's the Gospel Coalition. George Floyd. They ran 54 stories. You can follow them on X. So this is supposedly a conservative or a Christian organization, excuse me. They ran 54 stories on George Floyd and about how bad that was, but they ran 0 for Irina Zarutska. It's not just the New York Times, it's these supposed Christian organizations. So the reality is, listen to this. I'm going to give you this is the progressive game plan. See, because progressives, as they call themselves, which is actually regressive, so we need to own the words there, they don't have kids. Okay? So they constantly come for yours. Listen to this. NBC polled Gen Z, ages 18 to 29, on what they considered important to having a successful life. On the question of having children, men who voted for Trump, it was the number 1 issue. The women who voted for Harris, it was number 12, the last. So they don't have kids. That's why they come for yours. That's why it's so important what they teach your kids in school. That's why they want to take your kids away if you don't promote transgender ideology to them. It's just wild. Also, the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, the numbers have been revised down. This is an important story. Please catch this. I want you to understand this. From EJ Antoni, PhD on X. All months in 24 were revised down in today's job reports. This is from yesterday. So every single month in 2024, every month was revised down, with the average revision being negative 626,000. Let me repeat. Are people getting this? I just, this is crazy. I'm going to give you the numbers here. Every single month, revised down, 626,000. What's even crazier is the business employment dynamics data from the BLS and early benchmark from PHL Fed point to even worse down revisions in the next annual benchmark. So every number that you were hearing that was bad during the Biden regime was actually a lie to make it look better. Okay, now we knew this. I mean, we knew this at the time, but what's wild about this is people believe this. And so now they're like, oh, Trump's failing on the jobs. No. Okay, the reality is, folks, I've said this before, it's going to get worse before it gets better. But it was never as good as they told you it was. Okay? Here, I'm going to give you something else really crazy. Listen to this one. The Associated Press, okay, from earlier this year, why we will lowercase white. Okay, so listen to this. So AP has a style book. I don't know if you know this, but there's if you're writing for the Associated Press, you have to work within this style language, this style book. But they're going to lowercase white, but they're capitalizing black. This is all designed to divide. The blacks are being kept in poverty through Democrat policies in Democrat cities. They are completely racist scum, except for those that rise up in the level of politics. They would be similar to the house slaves. I'm not kidding you. I know that's strong language. That's real. AP style will continue to lowercase the term white in racial, ethnic, and cultural senses. The decision follows our move last month to capitalize black in such uses. We consulted with a wide group of people internally and externally and found around the globe that there were a variety of decisions, or a variety of commentary in making these decisions. There was a clear desire and reason to capitalize black. Most notably, people who are black have strong historical and cultural commonalities, even if they are different from different parts of the world, and even if they now live in different parts of the world. That includes the shared experience of discrimination due solely to the color of one's skin. Folks, I want to ask you a question. Early in American history, what was the number one slave group? Come on, somebody's got to get this. And I'm going to give you a little hint. It wasn't blacks, okay? Number one slave group in early American history, who was it? Come on, folks. Somebody's got to get this. They lie to us. They divide us. All of this to cause this division so they can maintain their power. Okay? It wasn't the Chinese. Lamille got it. The Irish. The Irish. Okay? So I will tell you, if you know anybody who's Irish, they have a pretty strong shared common heritage, history, nationality, and pride. That's why they're going after Ireland right now, okay? Why they're just tearing it apart. I'm Swedish, Norwegian, and German, and I will tell you that my aunt and uncle ran a store. They owned Scandia Imports in the Mall of America here in Minnesota. It used to be in City Center in downtown Minneapolis, but they eventually moved to the Mall of America. Their heritage, their culture was strong, okay? Very strong. My Aunt Mary was so Norwegian. She was the Norwegian of Norwegians. They went and got together with the King and Queen of Norway all the time. They were so Rose Molly everywhere in their house. If you don't know what that is, that's an art form, okay? Bottom line, this is crap. Listen to this. They say there is at this time less support for capitalizing white. White people generally do not share the same history and culture or the experience of being discriminated against because of skin color. Do you know what's interesting about that? Do you know in Minnesota, I'm just gonna play it straight here, folks. In Minnesota, I talked to my black friends, and there is nobody who's more racist against Somalians. So wait, because Somalians are black and these other blacks are black, I thought they all had the same history and culture and they all loved each other, so they should all be capitalized as black. I'm just telling you folks, racism exists in all forms. This is stupid. This is more division tactics of the left. Okay, yeah, Agent Orange, I'm also a child of God. We're all children of God. Every single one of us. It is our job to find that identity, to actually accept Christ and accept his finished work, and to know that we're truly loved. To know that we're loved, that we're forgiven, and how much we're forgiven of, so that we can forgive others, so that we hold not bitterness in our heart, and that we shine our light amongst men, so that they will see our good works, okay, and glorify God in heaven. It's all in the book, okay? If you read the book, it's all in there, all right? Anyways, if we know not love, we know not God. That's in 1 John. It's endless, all right? And the only way we can know love is to know God, so that we know how much we're loved and forgiven, so we can do the same for others. Even those who aren't kind to us, who mistreat us, all of that, okay? Anyways, I love you folks. Our only hope for the world is Jesus. I just throw that in there for you. Oh, and check out my sponsor, MyPillow, mypillow.com/lumberjack for big savings on the best sleep products available. And text lumberjack to 989-898 to get your free info kit on gold and silver from Birch Gold. Anyways, I love y'all. I'm going to go shoot a pronghorn antelope. I'm filming this all. It's going to be on my Neil of the North channel. I'm telling you, we're taking them down today. We are taking them down. I am going to get some meat. Meat's on the menu. All right, we'll talk to you later. Peace.